I have never gone back to see the cul-de-sac in Vegas. I just haven't really had any interest or inclination. To me, that's like the chapter is closed. I don't need to go back and see the location. I know that some people in our family have felt like that was healing or...
I'm feeling a little bit anxious. It's very awkward. It's weird.
I absolutely love it when Meri talks about Leon as my kid. It's one of those moments where my heart just swells with joy. The way she says it, so natural and effortless, really shows how much she accepts and loves them. That's the kind of acceptance I wish for all my LGBTQIA+ siblings. And seriously, can we talk about how she always uses the correct pronouns for Leon? It's not just a nice touch, it's a big deal, especially considering where Meri comes from. Growing up in the AUB, being part of the Rainbow Mafia was basically a crime. But Meri, she's evolved so much. She's come such a long way in her understanding and acceptance of the LGBTQIA+ community, and I really respect the growth she's shown. Meri has always been my favorite. Maybe it's because I get her. She's got one kid, but clearly wants more. Same Meri, same. She's always been a little on the outside, just waiting to be let in, hoping for that invite to be part of something bigger. Again, same. She totally deserves to find her happiness. And I'm all in on rooting for her. What I've seen since she finally left Kody has me so happy for her. She seems freer now, more like herself than ever before. It feels like she's just getting started on this new chapter of her life. And I think the fact that she's Leon's parent might just be the thing that pushes her into the life she's meant to have. Seeing her embrace being part of the rainbow makes me so hopeful for her future. She's truly happier than I've ever seen her. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. I love how Kody's big issue with culty religions isn't the irreparable damage they've done to his kids and family, but because someone once had the audacity to suggest he cut his hair. That's the real problem here, right? Honestly, even in the earlier seasons, I thought he was one of the most vain religious guys I've ever seen. Everything about him screams, "Look at me, I'm so fabulous, and please, for the love of God, envy me." Whether it's the hair, the house, the car, it's all about the image. He really thinks he's this big catch. That's why he's so flabbergasted that his wives left. He honestly believed they'd be forever grateful for the tiny crumbs of time and attention he tossed their way, because, he's just such a great guy. So, let's break down why Kody married Robyn, shall we? I'm sitting here watching his wives leave, and then it hits me. When Kody was all about courting Robyn, he was basically at war with Janelle and Meri. Doesn't it make a little more sense to fix the relationships you've already got before you go adding a new one into the mix? But no, clearly, Kody was more interested in stacking up wives than, making sure the ones he had actually worked for him. He claims he didn't fall in love until Robyn came along. Sure, buddy. Sounds like quantity over quality to me. Not that his other wives aren't great, but they clearly weren't the right fit for him. And honestly, he didn't seem to care. What's funny is this classic move from men who think the answer to a rocky marriage is finding a new woman. The twist here? Kody was allowed to do it, so why not? When things started falling apart with Meri, in came Janelle. In fact, I think he married her on Meri's birthday, but let's not dwell on that irony. Then, when the drama between Meri and Janelle got even messier, bam, Christine enters the picture. So when things got complicated with all three, what was his genius solution? Add a fourth wife, of course. I mean, who wouldn't think of that? Genius, right? Not exactly a strategy for success. And let's be clear, Kody's definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed, which is pretty obvious at this point. Now he's claiming he never loved his other wives until Robyn came along. Really? Funny how he never said that before they all left him. It's almost like he needed to spin it into a "they were the problem, not me" narrative to soothe his ego. It's like when a kid gets dumped and says, "Well, I didn't like you anyway." Yeah, okay, Kody. If you really weren't in love with them, your heart wouldn't have been broken like you claimed it was earlier this season. And if Robyn was truly the one for you, why are you still keeping that door open for romantic love with Janelle? Just a thought. So, did Meri bring Robyn into the family out of pure jealousy? I'm rewatching the show, and honestly, it's hard not to think that Meri might have been feeling a little left out with Christine and Janelle getting along so well. Maybe she thought, hey, why not add a new wife into the mix, so I'm not the only one standing here, awkwardly alone. Classic move, right? And let's be real for a second. Meri really got scammed by Robyn, didn't she? I mean, you'd think common sense would tell you that encouraging your husband to hook up with a younger, thinner woman probably isn't going to end well for you. But hey, in their little cult, common sense doesn't exactly reign supreme. Then there's Kody, deciding to look for a new wife after, what, a decade of a stable family? Yeah, totally not suspicious. It's almost like he was checking off some kind of bucket list. And don't even get me started on the dumping the starter wife once the kids are old enough trope. Is there a more tired cliche? And oh, speaking of body types, JC and I share a similar one. I like to call it the 14-year-old boy look. But hey, I didn't feel sexy until I saw Dexter and realized that JC was somehow considered beautiful, which gave me a nice little ego boost. But seriously, pants? Not an issue. Never had a problem buying them. Hello, Walmart. Thank you very much. Also, I'm taller than my husband. So yeah, I'm basically living the dream. Season 12. The one where Christine apparently discovers the magic of playing the damsel in distress card. Because clearly that's how you save a marriage, right? Watching this rewatch, I couldn't help but notice that Christine was suddenly so close to Robyn. I mean, according to her, Robyn was basically her marriage's savior. But here's the thing that caught my eye. Christine started crying. A lot, and not in the I'm genuinely heartbroken kind of way. Oh no, it was more like the look at me, I'm so vulnerable kind of crying. Sounds a lot like Robyn's signature move, right? If you can't beat him, join him. Christine clearly decided to throw her hat in the I'm the helpless one now ring. What was shocking, though, was that despite the fake tears and desperate attempts to win Kody's favor, it didn't work for Christine. At all, Kody didn't even pretend to care. He was far more interested in bowing down to Robyn than playing along with Christine's dramatic rebrand. Let's be real, Christine was desperate. Desperate enough to try being someone she wasn't in a last-ditch effort to make her marriage work. But no amount of fake tears or pandering was going to change the fact that Kody was done. If I'm honest, I'm not quite as in love with Christine as most people seem to be. Don't get me wrong, I respect her, but I think she would drive me up the wall if we were friends. A lot of it is due to the emotional baggage she's clearly still carrying around. Hello, Arrested Development, and part of it is just that she's a little intense. But you can't deny that she genuinely loves all her kids, even the ones she didn't give birth to, and she took her faith and marriage seriously until she realized it was a hopeless cause and everything started falling apart. What I do admire, though, is her guts. Leaving Kody and the church took a level of courage and determination that deserves some credit. That was no small feat. Now, from what I've gathered listening to former polygamists, the church and the husband always push this improve your relationship with your spouse commandment. Translation: bow to your husband and make sure to grovel in Robyn's direction while you're at it. Kody made it pretty clear that Robyn was the one to please. Christine did her best for the sake of eternal favor, but let's be real, it was an impossible task. And yet, somehow, people love to point fingers at Meri for trying to cozy up to Robyn to get in Kody's good graces. What they forget is that Christine tried the same thing. And spoiler alert, it didn't work for her either. Just another tragic attempt at keeping a marriage afloat that was already sinking. What exactly does Kody do in these relationships? Seriously, what does he bring to the table? From the way he talks on the show, it seems like he thinks the only thing he's supposed to do is sit back and be offended that the women aren't just endlessly grateful for his presence. According to him, his estrangement from his children, that's on the wives. It's their job to fix the relationship with the kids, not his. The kids themselves. Well, apparently they should be the ones reaching out to him to repair the bond. And when it comes to the marriage problems with the OG3, it's the wife's fault if things go south. If I don't love you, blame yourself, he says. So what exactly does he think his responsibility is here? It's definitely not intimacy. Kody didn't want an intimate marriage with Meri or Christine, so he's clearly not bringing that to the table. He's not exactly the family breadwinner either. Each of the OG3 wives secured their homes independently. No Kody in sight on those contracts. Financially, they don't need him at all. So really, what's the point of the OG3 sticking around? Emotionally, physically, or financially, he's not offering anything. But somehow, Kody's shocked that his 3 wives left. After all, he's been such an amazing partner, right? How dare they leave a good man? It's truly baffling. But of course, he's a man, and, the holder of the priesthood. Clearly, women can't function without him. We literally cease to exist without his magical presence. In the beginning of the show, Kody swore he had a calling for polygamy. But now, in a recent Mormon podcast, he's switched gears and claims he believes in hypergamy. The idea that women should always marry up. Interesting shift. Honestly, Kody's emotional maturity seems to have plateaued at the level of an 18-year-old dude who wants to sleep with a bunch of women but doesn't want to take any responsibility for the consequences. The religious environment he came from meant he couldn't just walk away from polygamy. But the next best thing was treating the wives he didn't care about like they were just parts of his harem. And Robyn, she wanted to be queen, not just another member of the harem. She was happy to keep the other wives around, as long as they were useful to her. When it came to her kids' relationships with the others, well, if they didn't fit into her vision, tough luck for them. A flashback to season 15. Robyn, ever the voice of concern, was casually discussing the possibility of coronavirus with Kody on Brianna's birthday. She pointed out, in her most innocent tone, that if anyone in the family, her or Christine, for example, caught coronavirus, Kody would probably stop seeing them. Kody's response: well, it wasn't exactly about family unity. He immediately goes, my first thought is if Robyn got sick, I'd need to be there to nurse her and take care of Saul and Ariella. Now, I can't help but wonder, what about Truly? What about Christine? Was she just forgotten in that scenario? The subtle hints of favoritism are hard to ignore. All these little things add up over time, yet Robyn still insists there were never any favorites. Yeah, sure, keep telling yourself that. Before the show was even picked up, the Browns, especially Christine, pitched an idea for a reality series about Kody, his 3 wives, and their seemingly endless children. The producers took a look at the concept and said, yeah, sure, this could be a fun one-off special, but there's just not enough here for a full series. But being the savvy TV execs they are, they made a suggestion: bring in a 4th wife and then we'll talk. So Kody and Meri, because obviously it was their storyline at the time, went off to find this elusive 4th wife, feeding the public a bunch of lies about what was going on behind the scenes. And oh boy, did things spiral out of control from there. No one could have predicted how it would unfold. The Browns ended up getting richer than they could have ever imagined, but in the process, the show, and that mysterious 4th wife, destroyed the family dynamic they once had before being sold to TV. Of course, all the wives and Kody had to sign off on the storyline before moving forward. But things started to get messy when Kody realized he was actually in love, or maybe just lusting, over Robyn and enjoyed the type of relationship he had with her, one he didn't have with the other wives. Robyn, ever the manipulator, capitalized on this, playing Kody and his wives like a fiddle until she was the head wife. Honestly, it's hard to believe the other wives would have gone along with this if they knew what kind of woman Robyn really was. Let's not forget, this is the woman who stole her first husband from her sister after he had been dating the sister first. Talk about bold moves. That alone should have been a red flag for both Kody and the producers. But hey, all the chaos and dysfunction was good for ratings, and as we all know, that's what really makes people rich. The week between Christmas and New Year's is always a bit of a limbo, isn't it? You're stuck in this strange in-between, wondering what to watch, what to do, and what your next move should be. So I started watching Breaking Amish Season 1. First off, can we talk about how awesome Kate is? Seriously, what an incredible transformation. She's amazing. But here's my real question. How does TLC give this intense, great tell-all host to a group of Amish people thrown into the chaos of NYC, who, let's be honest, are clearly a bit more sensitive, and then Sister Wives, with 19 seasons under its belt, can't even get a host who goes below the surface? Just a thought, especially after reading everyone's complaints about how terrible the Sister Wives tell-alls have become. TLC really needs to take a hard look at their own programming. By the way, Tamron Hall, hands down, the best tell-all host. But Kody and Robyn got rid of her, probably because they wanted someone who wouldn't actually challenge them. And here we are, stuck with Suki, who, let's be real, doesn't have the investigative edge the show desperately needs. Also, you should totally join the subreddit for Breaking Amish. It's pretty wild. Turns out, the cast isn't as fresh off the farm as you might think. There's a whole lot of behind-the-scenes drama going on that'll surprise you. Definitely worth checking out. The 3 interviews we desperately need to happen. So Meri, Janelle, and Christine have all done interviews to promote this season of Sister Wives, because of course they have. Kody, on the other hand, got a cozy, in-depth podcast interview with Mormon Discussions, which, let's be honest, was more of a therapy session than anything. Most of us tuned in and watched the interviewers handle him with such kid gloves you'd think they were worried he'd have a meltdown if they asked the wrong question. Sure, they tried their best to extract some juicy info, but we all know Kody's not about to let anything slip unless it benefits him. Meanwhile, most of the interviews with the ex-wives are the same old recycled stuff: Kody, the kids, and more kids. Understandable, since they can't spill too much due to NDAs, though wouldn't it be amazing if they did? But what if we flipped the script? What if we campaigned Mormon Discussions to get the ex-wives' perspectives on the same stuff Kody talked about? Things like the AUB belief system, polygamy, the real impact it had on the wives and kids, why they left, what they believe now, and how it's affected them since. I'm talking about a real, deep dive that doesn't make them feel like they're breaking any NDA rules. Something that looks at the whole system from a woman's point of view. I can already hear Christine and Janelle dropping some serious knowledge. One's got polygamy royalty status and the other's a convert. Talk about perspectives we need to hear. As for Meri, well, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but let's be real, she'll probably defend her polygamist upbringing with the fervor of a person clinging to their last shred of dignity. Don't expect any new revelations from her, but hey, one can dream, right? Kody's interview was heavily promoted by Mormon Discussions across all the major Sister Wives subs and even the ex-Mormon community. I'm sure they made a pretty penny off that, but hey, they earned it. Now, can we please get them to actually listen to the audience and give us the content we've been begging for? Let's tag, upvote, and rally around this idea to grab their attention. A woman's perspective on that platform is long overdue. It's only fair, right? Honestly, Barbara Walters is no longer with us, Oprah's retired, and the only other interviewer with the guts to ask tough questions seems to be Tamron Hall, who's apparently had enough of the Sister Wives circus. So if anyone's got suggestions for another podcast or platform that could take this on, I'm all ears. I'm just so tired of Kody and Robyn getting coddled. These two need to earn their paycheck by answering tough questions, and they definitely need to be called out on the constant lies. If Robyn can't even watch past episodes without having a panic attack, maybe she should consider a job that doesn't require a public appearance. The wives have been carrying the family for years, and now they're literally carrying the show. Kody and Robyn's scripted fights and date nights. Yeah, that's not what I'm tuning in for. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.